Hello, today I played Spider-Man, but I tried to beat it without swinging. The rules are that controls that involve webs intended to be mainly used as traversal mechanics are not allowed, so web zipping and zip to points are not allowed. Swinging is obviously not allowed, but things intended mainly for combat is allowed, so web strike is allowed. If I swing, I reset to last checkpoint. So immediately, it tried forcing us to swing. I clicked the button and it removed the prompt and didn't swing. Webs are used for combat, so they're allowed. So I was messing around a bit, which is my very good reason why I died 4 times. After I beat the first fight, it tried forcing me to swing again, but all I had to do was tap it again. So this expected me to zip to the railing and forced my camera to face in the direction of the railing, and since there were 3 people firing at me, it made it difficult to climb the wall. Jumping on the wall let my camera free so I could climb the side wall. Then everything was normal for like 2 minutes. To reach the other sides in these types of rooms, I just climbed the side wall. After finishing another fight, it locked my camera again, but I still managed to make it across the wall. So there is a vent here that requires web zipping to get into, so I kept trying to move from the wall to the roof. Then I tried reloading the game and it put me even further back. I did 15 minutes of attempts and nothing worked. At one point, I even tried stacking boxes till I reached the top. Whatever you can think of, I probably tried, so I decided I will save at any point I think is impossible and try later on new game. Plus,
You failed!
so even though the tutorial is intended to be the easiest part of the game, it's almost impossible in this challenge because I couldn't get up there without using web zip again, so I saved for later after 10 minutes.
You failed!
I nearly thought there was another impossible area like 2 minutes after, but the wall on the side was climbable. After that, everything was normal, so I made my way to Kingpin. And then we easily beat him with methods I accidentally found on a stream. So I checked benchmarks every time I remembered, so around every 3 minutes, and if I accidentally used swinging, I'm going to show it. The run and swing button are the same, so there would be a lot of times where Peter jumps off something which puts me in the air and makes me start swinging. It looked like nothing, but it went up a bit. So the rest was just story. We went to the lab, stopped some crimes, and got the advanced suit. It tried forcing us to swing for the 3rd time, but we did the same thing we did before. Trying to do this stealthily didn't work because no web zip made it hard. Next, I used my skill points to unlock 2 things that would help me travel faster.
What's happening out in the city?
So I kept accidentally using web zip so much with this new ability to the point I just decided if it was an accident, I won't reset for it. Yeah, so I bet you didn't think Central Park was going to be a challenge. When I was recording this, the sun was shining directly onto my monitor, making it hard to see the game. So I couldn't tell if things were grass or lakes or something else. Meaning I could sprint into a lake, meaning I would have to keep jumping to get out of the water quicker, which would usually get me with a web zip, and because the sun, I would think I touched the ground after jumping, which made me start swinging. The trees also didn't help.
Sorry.
There was also a lot to collide with that I couldn't see, which would cause web zipping, or I'll be launched into the air and start swinging. This was at 37 when I entered. So there was only 2 to 3 minutes of attempts on this because there's not much you can do when your camera is locked to the roof, your character is frozen, and you are being forced to web zip.
You failed!
So is it a shocker that a chase scene is a hard challenge? So I spent between 50 minutes and an hour trying to beat Shocker, and this is where I decided that if I accidentally web-zipped I would let it slide, but I also made another rule. If it's a chase scene and I've tried for 10 minutes and think it's impossible, I can use web-zip. And as soon as I added that rule, I beat it, and I'll still do another hour of attempts without web-zip, but for now, this satisfied me. This was after Shocker, so I was expecting the research station to be a challenge, but since I used my skill points to buy the ability that lets me charge up a higher jump, it was actually kind of easy, even though I did have to reset once. And that fail was literally on the last step where I accidentally slingshotted. So this took like 15 minutes of trial and error until I got the winning attempt and strategy. This second part was third try and there wasn't much strategy. This next phase was the one that was hard, so you got to stay around the middle of the room and dodge whenever Spidey sense activates and whenever Shocker charges up for the worst attack jump in the air, and press B at the right time and it will dodge to the side just like web zipping. Then the last phase was the easiest. So it was long, but I did manage to do this, and it wasn't too hard. The few times I did fail was because I accidentally started swinging after falling. Then the part with Officer Davis wasn't much different until this part. So we had to zip to the floor, and I tried for like 3 minutes, but there was no way through, so I had to save and accept defeat for now.
You failed!
How you looking?
Not much better.
So this was the easiest chase by far. Even the first 10 minutes without web zipping I got close, and as soon as I got web zipping I did it second try.
Here's your stuff.
So this was the exact same as Challenge 1. There's a vent in the ceiling, and I tried everything I could think of again. If there was a way to do Challenge 1, then there's a way to do this, but since there's no way to do Challenge 1, no way to do this. So if you asked me what the hardest things in this challenge was, I would say stealth missions as Spider-Man, and in first place is a chase. This scene had both. It's extra hard to climb stuff in a construction site, but that was just a tiny practice for what comes next. There's only one scene that might be harder than this, and that's the floor is acid later in the game. I lost 90 minutes of my life and probably my last 2 brain cells trying to beat this. You had to be perfect. I was always either too fast or too slow, and sometimes you will get stuck on some of the most random things. And that 1 second could be the one that ruins the attempt. To save time, just imagine everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for 90 minutes straight. After 90 minutes of torture, I did it. After that, there was just combat and jumping around the city, so I will end here. Thanks for watching, bye-bye.
I told you I can't start a manhunt based on a hunch from Spider-Man.
But I'm telling you, he's the guy.